have seen both of these teams advance to the group stage, but Monofritz has talked about do not belittle Brazil, do not sleep on Brazil. They're going to show their power, even if it is the last series.
And that's a big part of this. I do think North America is an incredibly strong region this year. Everyone, I think, on the caster desk coming into this tournament was very impressed with the Wild Tour as well.
Yes.
And these are two regions that are, I think, much closer to the Asian teams than people thought coming in, as evidenced by the fact that they've both taken games off of them.
Yes, exactly. And, you know, they have won those games. And I love that this goes back to what you mentioned that Manu Preacher said. It really ramps up the competition here. Everybody's just that much closer to each other. And right now, we're seeing a lot of energy here in the drafting phase.
Liberty trying to match the cheer, kind of, I think they were desynced.
I like this back and forth, yeah.
Only half the team managed to scream. Yeah, talking about the draft, right off the bat, Sentinels grabbed the Wukong. Wukong has come into high prominence, I think the third most picked character at this event. Very useful in the late game team fights, got a damage buff right before this patch. And it establishes that you want to front to back, which is the Sentinels' bread and butter. They get the Wukong, they get the Darius. That's going to be in the front lines. You're going to put rest on this Varus behind that and organize these very well-coordinated team fights as we were talking about.
Rafa, right now, we're seeing Sentinels here looking a little bit comfortable, and we're seeing Liberty actually fire back, as we can see, like, when we look behind us and we see the cheers going on backstage, or rather on stage. And right now we're seeing a little bit of a fire back from Liberty.
Big question from Liberty is how are they answering rest in the backline? Are they going to assist Freaks in the top side of the map with this Camille looking for extra dive partners, or is he going to be on a solo mission?
And this is what I'm looking at when I look at the Sentinels draft. Okay, you're organizing a front-to-back team fight. That's what everyone expects from Sentinels. So, what did Liberty come into this match ready to do to that front-to-back team fight? The answer so far, well, we've got the Corki, we've got the Camille, we've got the Olaf. Three things that chew on front lines, and the Camille in particular, who will be able to get over the front line and onto that Varus.
I'm also sad that Thresh has been banned and we won't be able to see Manu Freezer on
that's
the
absolutely.
I think that was a given.
If you
that
want
was a given.
Sentinels to win and you are respecting Liberty, you have to ban Manu Freezer's Thresh. And also these two other Enchanter supports, this signals to me that they're wary that this could be a Corki in the mid lane, and Liberty might pivot to something that we saw from both T1 and Rix, late game marksman.
It's also the Olaf. Because the Olaf right now is in a very weird place without any kind of speed boosting. Orianna banned out, Shen banned out, Lulu banned out, Nami banned out. There's nothing that's going to accelerate that Olaf into a fight. It's a dry Olaf. No lubrication. It's going to be very difficult to get them into the backlines and do major damage.
Sentinels, I mean, if they can slow it down, if they can cause barriers to make sure that this Olaf doesn't get anywhere near rest, they'll have done their job. And an old school counter has been something like a Jarvan. However, with both the Wukong and the Darius already locked in, unless you want to see some classic TJ J4 support.
Well, I think they need something that can get into the backlines of Sentinels, because Sentinels with that Galio have such a good defense against the Camille. And the Olaf is what's supposed to get past it, but because he's not ready to go down the slip and slide, he doesn't have like the Karma, for instance, boosting him in. I don't know how Liberty is going to get past beginning.
Look at, you can't. It's a four-man brawler composition. It is a classic Fortress-style comp that Sentinels made a name for themselves during the early parts of the WNS.
This is the perfect Sentinels draft.
And this is going to be very exciting indeed. TJ, you mentioned that Liberty might be missing a little piece, a little
They still are.
Right here. So are you saying that Liberty look a little shaky right now?
Everything that they want to pair with that Olaf got removed, banned out, or removed by them. And so now this Olaf is just going to have to run in through the front side of this fight and hope that it works out. I don't think they're going to be able to access the backline unless we see some really good Set or Camille play.
And the big thing that Liberty is lacking is damage that can actually cut through a giant beefy front line.
It's Galio. It's Garen.
Corki's not going to be enough. Jace is not going to be enough. Camille, yes, she does true damage, but it doesn't come in at a rapid pace. This is where you would have been craving for something like a Kaisa or for a Vayne, but they have...
Making it just two representatives from the WCK coming into groups. And meanwhile, Liberty, they won their match against Sentinels as well, 2-1. So it could repeat again.
Yeah, frankly, Sentinels is a team of 3-game series. close matches
Yeah.
throughout, and they are prepared, I think, here to go the distance if they have to.
If they have to. I mean, as much as possible, of course, you want to get it into just 2-0. That is the dream. That is the goal here. But looking at the history of how Sentinels has been getting their wins, it's always these game 3s, and especially both of these two teams have already punched each other in the face already before.
Oh my.
Oh my is right.
That sounds quite rough, Riku.
But the thing is, the approach of Sentinels this time around is rest here. Not gonna be punching everybody in the face, but this time gonna attack from the backline.
Did they at least hold back the last time they punched each other in the face?
They try. No,
No
they
holding
went
back.
all in. They
No
went
holding
all
back.
in.
All right,
No,
last
no,
time
no.
around, there was no holding back. This time around, no holding back even more.
Yeah, extra. There's a lot on the line here. The AD mentioned it before. It was TJ that said, you know, for Sentinels, if they proceed, that'll be 2 representatives for the WNS. Meanwhile, for Liberty, they're the sole survivors from the Wild Tour from Brazil. So this will mean a lot from the play-ins when they move on to the group stage.
Absolutely. You know, just having that additional team really increases your odds, especially with how stacked things are looking so far. 4 teams from the WRL, 4 teams from the WCS.
Woo!
You are competing against some incredible teams. So, how do we get to that point? You talked it through. Rest, that big carry for Sentinels. No one can touch him. A massive front line for him.
That is ideal, right? Because you've got 4 beefy boys on the side of Sentinels to make sure to create this wall, create this fortress, as Raph has mentioned.
Okay, and Frieza's gonna come in. Smite will come across, but as Mana Frieza picks up the blue buff in the end, picks up a little bit more EXP. Beginnings
first
caught out
blood!
position. Kona picks up the kill credit, but he goes down. A 1-for-1 exchange on both sides.
But that's first blood for Liberty here, but that was Sentinels getting deep into the jungle, into jungle territory of Liberty, so they were trying to find a pick themselves. But again, for the side of LBR, I'm looking at Manufritze here, because he had the last pick in the draft. They picked the set. But let's take a look at that first before we delve into their comp. And again, it was Manufritze Kona over here. Really nice face breaker, holding people down. Boss is there for the additional damage.
And gets the blue buff.
And it's the blue buff to boot. Deny that away from Sentinel's attempt to go over to the LBR jungle.
But Ty will look for a second try coming. Flashing in was not needed, but for safe measure, a second kills to Sentinels.
Really nicely done as a response here. I like this proactivity here from both of these teams, mainly from Sentinels. They were the ones that delved deep into the jungle of Liberty. They were the ones that set up that kill towards Freaks. And I feel like Tybe here on this Wukong, we saw him in game number 3 up against Kwangdong Freaks, being that enabler, being that play setter, rather, to access these team fights, to access these fights, rather.
Look at what Liberty's trying to get done now. They've sent a 3-man squad running into the jungle and spotted out here by the sweeper on the side of Sentinels. This red buff once again. A contentious boy flashing in. Does get a chain of corruption down first, but can he get the follow-up? JY does not have his ultimate, still sends Boss over the wall, flashing away.
That was too close for Boss. Forced to use a lot of summoner spells, really nicely done by Rest. Gotta keep an eye out of that with a flash chain of corruptions. But going back to Manufritze, they picked up the set because Showstopper deals a lot of these health percentage damage, and he has a lot of targets to choose from. You got MTS, you got Tav, you got Molly, you got Beginnings. You send that to the face of Rest, and that is a lot of value.
What an interesting game starting this one out. Sentinels have gone in for the early engage. They've gone into the enemy jungle. Liberty have done the same. They've gone in trying to steal camps away from each other. And what an aggressive start to the series. That being said, first one coming up, I can only imagine how much more intense it's going to get.
Oh yeah. Imagine when the first dragon is spawned, Rift Herald. Look at this roam from Manufritze though. This is what is expected. This is exactly what he did. No matter if he's on a Thresh or not, he's gonna roam for his carries.
Absolutely. When you have Freaks off in the side lane with the potential to pop off, you can see Liberty making a smart decision not to push the engage further. Beginnings nearby will spot them out.
Yeah, not a lot of opportunities there. They'd rather go back, reset, then fight at Rift Herald.
Wow, Mali is already becoming so tanky. The barrier from Kona used. But Ignite on the side of Mali as well. Blocks down a lot of the damage, and this side lane exchange looking good for Sentinels.
Yeah, good thing. Good thing they both had Hull Breakers. That could have been very scary for Kona.
Rift Herald started off here by Sentinels. Liberty trying to find a way in.
There's
Mana Frieza comes in, gets a showstopper, a big one. Faceburger used as well. Chain of Corruption lands on the Kinsey, but Kinsey cannot be stopped. No one can stop the engage on the Rest. Rest goes down. A huge use of the Proto Belt to find the kill. At least straight back for something on the Mana Frieze. They take down Kinsey over the back line as well, and somehow Sentinels again with a 2-for-1 exchange.
Oh my word. That is the engage that we were looking for. Imagine if Boss had 3 items, 2 items. I feel like that's where everyone from Sentinels is just gonna melt to dust.
Liberty pull the trigger, but Sentinels win the exchange. For now though, Rest in a bit of danger. You can see what happens here, Riku.
Yeah, exactly right. You send any, just choose between 4 champions on the side of Sentinels. Mana Frieze just pulls the trigger with a showstopper, and that's exactly what happens, right? Disintegrated. Rest, unfortunately, does not have the backline. The backline just was not existent there because of the backline access.
Playing on backline access there, Mana Frieze. Looking for the Riptile charge. Trying to take down the turret if they can. 42 HP, very close to going down. Mana Frieze needs to be a little bit wary about this. Get tagged here, Chain of Corruption as well as the taunt. Mean that Sentinels get once again another kill. Going over the type this time around.
I really thought that was the great escape. But Sentinels, they secure that kill. And again, without Mana Frieze, they're gonna have a hard, Liberty is gonna have a hard time starting this fight. Yes, you got Freaks for the Hextech ultimatum, but it's not this big AoE that you need to fight Sentinels with their comp.
Liberty do get something back though. First turret in the top side. Kona working away on that with his Hullbreaker. But the Sentinels do find themselves a mid-side turret with this next wave if they continue to push on.
One thing that I want to look at though is Type. He's 401, Divine Sunderer already completed. They can play to this aggression, with this lead rather.
Gets the wall down in time, spots out Type.
Wait, oh okay, I thought he was doing the thing where he pretends to not be the clone. Or to be the clone rather.
Let's go over his phone. It's like, I'm the clone. You need to walk in on me. Boss, it's okay, just walk in on me.
Yeah, that's what I mean, it's fine. I'm the clone.
Yeah, it's the clone, that's safe. No, but you still get hit by the Cyclone on the clone, so
That's true.
it's never really safe. That's talking about Cyclone, the first Cyclone is going to be used.
Oh.
Not coming through from Freaks, ultimate used by Beginnings. Managed to find a knockup back on the Mana Frieze. Very difficult to finish off with these kills. Mali and MTS so far away from the fight.
Look at the early game. Rest is dealing a huge amount of damage from the piercing arrows, and it forces Liberty to just back away instead.
And Liberty looked like they had a good engage there. Very close to finding a kill on the time. Lapsing very quickly, narrowly missing that chance.
Yeah, I feel like Freaks really, that's the reason why they locked down Tybe in that scenario, is they really wanted to get those shutdown gold slowly building up.
Liberty would have definitely done well with that additional cash in hand. For now though, both sides can try and scale back a little bit. They want to move back, go back to base. Rest still has that big win condition. When he gets ahead with the rest of his team able to protect him, hold around him, a massive shield wall. Liberty, on the other hand, they still have the Olaf, and the Olaf can run them down.
For sure. That is your secondary backline access. If Mana Frieze is able to catch Sentinels off guard with an amazing Facebreaker showstopper, then boom, that's it. That's the time Kinzen can go in.
Exactly. And so a lot of emphasis on Mana Frieze to get that stuff done. Whereas Sentinels are going to slowly whittle away at these turrets. Reptile coming up once again quite soon. Dragon will follow a little bit later this time around, so Sentinels have quite a bit of downtime. I'm curious what they're going to try and get done with it. They have been able to build a gold lead.
And this is going to be very important for Sentinels, right? Because they have a lot of tanks on their side, with, on paper, only Rest dealing the consistent damage. And meanwhile, for Liberty, it's quite the opposite. They have a lot of damage on their plate. So my worry would be they might run out of damage. But I think the silver lining for this is that everyone's squishy on LBR. If you're up against Bruisers...
If you're up against Bruisers, Liberty end up losing one here very quickly. It's going to be Kona going down to the inside. Oh, he's still alive! Type gashes in, gets a Nimble Strike. Finally, Redemption comes through, but it's a little bit too late. Will not be able to keep Type alive. Freeze joins back in, looking for the catch on the Rest. Rest still has Splash Rest to get over the wall quickly.
Wow.
Will dodge away to the other side so he does not face off against Boss. MTS losing health. Mali goes back in onto the Corki. The Corki already using his Valkyrie on both expenses. And so Sentinels get to have control here.
They're so tanky, no one was dying. Sentinels was just running over Liberty because they were pretty much very, very squishy. And Mali, look at him go. He was in the middle of the entire fight and it felt like he wasn't damaged at all. let's take a look at that again, right? It was Sentinels that pulled the trigger, and Kona survived a little bit from the ult of MTS, but it doesn't change the fact that it forced Liberty away from their position, their advantageous position. Freaks, again, your target is Rest, but Hourglass bought a lot of time for Rest to live.
I mean, I want to talk about why Rest was even in that bad position to begin with. It's because Man on Freeze got that entry angle in. Whereas Liberty in the bot side will see their efforts unfulfilled. Turret will not fall. But Man on Freeze was able to get backline access onto Rest again, which was the reason why Rest was even in a precarious position.
There's so many answers, right? Hextech Ultimatum, Man of Freeze, most especially with the set. There's Kinzin as well for the Go Signal without Ragnarok. And with Azonius Hourglass completed, for Rest, at least there is that, you know, safety buy time for beginnings to enter the fight with the Galley Bolt.
Bruno Drake coming up. Sentinels should be looking for this. They're going to reset now. I think that should mean they make their way over, but Liberty have control over it first.
Honestly, tie being 5-1-2, I feel like Liberty now sort of shifted. We see tons of times for Freaks wanting to remove time out of the equation and then Rest after. Honestly, Matt, if Monofreeze just dives in, gets two, Rest and type, that's your ideal situation in this next Dragon fight.
TP for Kona, I think this is a call saying that we can try and fight for this. I can't TP in. Looks like Liberty are willing to commit for this fight. Kinzin tries to walk forward first.
There it is. Freaks!
Overextended, it's gonna get caught out. Freaks with a beautiful engage, gets in the backline, access Man of Freeze with a face breaker as well as it locks out the Varus. The big one ultimately finishes off the kill onto the Varus. Over by the side, Time still dishing out damage. Such a powerful Wukong. The front line is too tanky, has too much damage. An infinite amount of sustain for the Wukong. Time looking to take down Boss as well. He picks up the Hunting Fruit, still alive. Freak misses a chance for the kill by missing out on the hook shot, but they still find it. Ultimately, Boss needs to get away. Watch out for Molly, he comes in, hits the dunk, and they're looking for the kill on the Freaks as well, the last one up for Liberty.
This is gonna be very tricky, 1v2. I know you got true damage, but this is a little bit tricky with the silence. You cannot do anything if you dive in.
But the Dragon is still up. Rift Tower popped in the mid side. Sentinels will not be able to find the charge, will not get the Dragon, but they get a good fight win.
Yeah, let's take a look at that again. Liberty had that priority. Get Rest, no problem. But your backline will have to face Mali, beginnings, Tide, most importantly, was 5-1 already on the board. Honestly, Liberty getting Rest out of the picture immediately was amazing for them. But at this point of the game, where you don't have enough damage to remove the tanks just yet, you don't have Shred, you don't have enough yet, again, for the tanks. Round 2, baby!
And we're right back into it. Clone pulled in with a showstopper. Man Freeze loses health so quickly this time around. Rest is untouched and he gets to do damage. MTS dashes in with the Proto Belt. Looking for the pickup. The Emperor Hand won't connect. Freaks left to run back in the jungle of Sentinels.
Yeah, this is jungle in exchange for the support. Again, Mana Fritza is needed in these fights, and that's the reason why Liberty just is going to back away instead. Sentinels, though, is able to get a good grip of vision on the side of that Dragon. Infernal Drake still not taken, by the way.
And for as long as this Infernal Drake is up, Liberty are going to have to keep walking back into it. Sentinels know they can pull attention to this objective.
And now it feels like Liberty has shifted gears. Kona right now is going to do the split push, going to take advantage of this 3 cannon wave with the Hull Breaker in his hands, just to see if they can get a turret, establish pressure rather on top side.
Mali does have his as well.
Teleport picked up too.
He had the teleport for a while now. Kona had this before the first Dragon fight, but they weren't able to use it. Type running back in as quickly as he can. 3,000 HP left on this Dragon, but teleport starts to come in. Man Frieza with the engaged Facebreaker only lands on the beginning, looking for the start the hunt where he can. But it's Liberty that finds the Dragon in the chaos of the fight.
Gotta love what Liberty is doing, right? They got the Dragon, and they know that they don't need to fight just yet. I wonder if Sentinel's trying to bait this.
Time trying to go back in again. They get to change corruption on the Mana Frieza. It should be the first kill. But the Mana Frieza flashes over the wall.
Tick, tick,
but
tick!
the Raptors still manages to live through the Ignite. Liberty start to run away in the mid lane. MTS will give it an engagement. Will not be able to get the Emperor Hand, but Mali with the kill.
Nicely done finish. Execute from Mali here on Kinzin.
Can he find a catch on the time again? Very nice taunt, gets Justice Punch on the corner.
Corner.
The arrow will finish him off. Res walks away, does not have to look for the kill. He gets it anyway.
Meanwhile, look at bottom lane. Freaks taking advantage. He also has Hull Breaker, by the way. He's gonna take this tower down.
No, if MTS has anything to say about it. Oh! Now he gets it.
Cannons! Cannons for the win. Cannon minions for the win there. Really nicely done by Freaks, while Sentinels was so busy initiating these fights, which is correct. Freaks, on the other hand, responded. Now, with this assembly, this configuration, we know Liberty is not going for these team fights at the moment. If there are no objectives, we're going to go 1-3-1. Facebreaker.
Trying to go in onto Mali here, but not sure how effective this is going to be. Buying so much time here as Type running over quickly. He has the Cyclone. Mali still losing health to the Ignite. Freak splashes in, secure the kill, but with that, he's also secured his own death.
It's 1-for-1 now on that fight there. It's a top lane versus mid lane. Mali for Freaks. Well, good thing there are no objectives just yet, or else that could have been tricky.
Is the Baron not an objective, Riku?
Okay, fine. It is an objective. It is an objective.
Wow. Baron forgotten as an objective. My goodness.
I know. I was looking at the Elder Drake. Okay, Elder Drake, no, that's fine. They're fire.
Everyone always looks at the Elder Drakes like, yeah, Elder Drake, you're so cool, you're so popular. You know, everyone likes you. Baron's like, guys, I literally help most teams win games. Like, I am the more effective buff overall. Statistically speaking, Baron wins you more games.
That is true.
But like everyone's like looking at Elder because it's like I give you stats, special effects, you know, like, oh, that's so cool.
I don't know why. I'm hearing like the Baron voice in my head saying like, I help you siege towers. Come on, Riku. I don't think Baron sounds like that though. No.
We don't know. You know, maybe that's like a really high voice.
That could be true. There has been many Barons that we've seen from our games and the icons.
Yeah.
It's not the same Baron. They're different Barons every time.
Oh, wow. Now you've given me something to think about.
I wonder what the lore says, but we don't want to go too deep.
Sentinels are trying to go deep in the jungle of Liberty here though. Get spotted out along the way. Type looking for an engage onto Kona, but Kona will be wary of this and back off in time.
Look at this 1-3-1 though. Freaks, take note, doesn't have teleport. So this will be a little bit awkward. MTS already joining in the fray to make sure that Freaks doesn't push too much.
Yeah, you are the Camille, so it is easier to get in, but still quite far away. They find a catch on the boss. Boss, you might be able to flash, but you're still at risk of going down. Mali comes in, it's a kill out for Rest. They've taken down the Corki.
Oh, gotta love what Type did. Interrupted a Valkyrie midway. Type still going in? It's like that's a no. Freaks holding his ground, still pushing bot lane though.
They're trying to get some damage control done. They've already lost the mid lane, so what else can you do? They just want to push the bot side.
Yeah, without boss, no wave clear. It's gonna be awkward. I feel like Sen can do this, can destroy this tower.
Want this tower quickly, and they're able to shred it down so very fast. Ras still has his arrow. They get the inhibitor. One mistake here from boss, and the mid side inhibitor goes down.
My word.
Flash after flash out from Sentinels as they're chasing after Liberty in their own base. Won't be able to find more though.
Gotta love Liberty holding their ground, making sure that Freaks instills pressure still, because it's not like Freaks can do anything in the mid lane at the moment. Might as well.
Oh no.
Pressure
Freaks.
down!
Cyclone again. Gets the shield, has the flash, beginnings, line and wait.
Can they buy time?
Taunt comes across, the rest of Liberty's trying to run in now. Mana Freezer with the engage again. Beginning trying to use his ultimate, but gets cancelled in the process. Mana Freezer still alive, but he will go down eventually. Buying some time by going golden in the hourglass. Rest is still in the back of the pit. Mali needs to trace back, but Kinzit heals up so much health.
He was 1v2ing at the back of that pit, at the back of that Elder pit. He was so low, just like basically hashtag just Olaf things. You can see him deal so much damage and heal up from that exchange on that 1v2 at the back of that pit. Crazy fight from Liberty.
And the Elder Drake coming up very soon. But for now, the Coca-Cola pop-off as we look at Freaks getting caught out initially.
Yeah, it felt like Sentinels would have gotten the upper hand, making it a 5v3 situation. But in the end, that Hourglass Stasis bought some time. I want to look at Kinzit here. Look at Kinzit. Zonia's Hourglass. Boom. Okay, I'm going to wait for you to Stasis out. Rest comes out of Stasis. Still falls down. Rest still alive, boom, bye-bye Molly. And Liberty just played that fight so well.
I think that fight started before Boss had left the base.
Yeah,
Like, he was still at the edge of his base.
It was 5v3!
And they were fighting for such a long time. With Freaks gone so quickly, Liberty held on. And by the time Boss was able to join back in, of course, we saw what happened, was able to keep Kinzin alive. Now, Elder Drake started up. The real objective started up by Liberty. Time is a distance away. He's still in the mid lane. He needs to start walking in first. Mana Freeze going to pull them away. Watch what happens here. FTS dashes into the back line, but the Dragon goes over to Liberty in time. Kinzin's still alive here, but FTS will finally manage to find the trade, take him down. Mana Freeze needs to start running. Rest wants to chase after, but the Proto Belt, of course, going to be used. Freeze off by the top side. He's going to do damage to the base of Sentinels. Watch out for what happens here, and Freeze is here to prevent the recalls. Sentinels cannot go back into base. They cannot recall Riku.
They cannot.
Kona's still there.
Kona's hitting it. Kona's gonna hit the Nexus.
He's brought the minions into base. He's onto the Nexus. There is no fortification, but he has no more mana. On auto attack. Time cannot stop that. Liberty get game number 1.
In explosive fashion, with Kona winning the duel up against Molly with that Garen, both having hull breakers. But at the end of the day, they were able to get that Elder Drake, boosting the stats of Kona, winning that 1v1, then hitting the Nexus.
That was an unbelievable win, Riku.
I know! It looked so well for Sentinels. They were winning.
Of the firepower to win, and they were kiting back with them, and they were controlling the map. And then you see the rest of the game where, yeah, Sentinels are winning the team fights, but Liberty have recognized that, and so they're taking these team fights in a very Flash Wolf style as, okay, we're going to lose this team fight, but we're going to do it slowly, and during that time, our side lanes are farming up.
I think a huge shout out to Freaks is in recognition, and it's in very much deserved.
Oh, yeah.
That not only Freaks was doing the utmost split pushing duties on the opposite side of the map, but you saw how he was able to pinpoint accurately take out Rest multiple times in this fight. Do you realize how hard it is to get through Garen, Galio, Darius, Wukong as well? You can answer with a Cyclone. The fact that he consistently found Rest in these pockets where there was an entrance point